Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the
I can't
free
believe
show.
you would say that about him.
Before the free show, say what I want.
I thought that was out of line.
I am a grown woman.
He's
I stay out of line.
He's a good Christian man.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
He here has actually no context.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show before the free show. A rare football-y pre-show for the free show.
Go, gosh, darn it. I'll get it ready.
I'll vamp. That's fine.
I don't have time to get that ready in time. Maybe. Let me see what I can do here.
So last night was a special night. So there was obviously a lot of games last night. There ended up being, if you're interested, the final total of UIL games that were played last night was 231. To put that in perspective, last Thursday, the number of games on Thursday night was, I want to say I've got it here somewhere, 86. And that was a pretty busy Thursday night. Mm-hmm. Last Thursday night was a busy Thursday night, and this almost tripled it. So, a lot of games last night. I have a son. His name's Hank. He's going to turn 4 in December. You guys were probably here when he was born. And he's wanted to go to a high school football game for a while. He's wanted to go to a football game for a while. The problem with that is Dad's busy on Friday nights. Dad's an absentee father on Friday nights. So we had a plan. This week, we were going to take him to the local freshman game. The local freshman game. We were going to take the whole family. Max is going to come too because it's a 5:30 kick, right? It's 5:30. Take all the time you need. We can go. Do whatever we need to. He gets the football experience. He gets to go to the stadium, this, that, and the other. 5:30. Max's bedtime's like 6:30. He can stay up till like 6:45, this, that, and the other, whatever. So then big weather starts rolling in, and all these games get canceled, including the local high school football game, including the game down the street at the stadium nearest to our home. And so on Tuesday, I broke the news to Hank. I said, all right, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The bad news is Max and Mommy are not going to come to the football game on Thursday. But the good news is that the bands are going to come to the game on Thursday. And he got very excited. I tried to tell him, like, this is going to be a bigger game than we were thinking. Like, there's going to be fans there and people there, and you're going to need to hold Daddy's hand and stuff like that. So we rolled up to the game, bought my ticket bought my ticket from our friends at Hometown Ticketing, an easy, seamless process with the Hometown, I think it's the Hometown Fan app. Is that what it's called? I think it's the Hometown Fan. Yeah, the Hometown Fan app.
I got it.
Nice and easy. We go up there. And it is senior night, of course, because it's the last home game. And we get in, and Hank just is having a ball. He's enjoying watching the football, kind of, but he's enjoying the bands. He thinks the cheerleaders are super cool. He asked me a lot of questions about the cheerleaders. He enjoyed when they scored the touchdowns. He was rooting for the home team and things like that. And it was a lot of fun. I think he enjoyed his first high school football game experience. But don't take it from me. Hank Tepper filed this report from the stadium last night. Let's go to the highlights.
Okay, Hank, are you having fun? What's your favorite part so far?
Watching the football game.
Do you like the band? What are you eating?
A hot dog.
Is it good? Okay, do you want to tell anybody else? Anything else? Are you having
Next time I want to sit on the one.
on the first row?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that next time. Okay, say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
There he is, Hank Tepper. There's us.
Amazing.
We had a good time last night. He wore his Blaze in the Monster Machine shirt to go out there. But it was his first high school football experience, and I think he liked it. There's one.
How long did y'all end up
We
staying?
made it to halftime.
Nice.
We made it to halftime, and we were listening to the band as we were leaving.
Nice.
And at that point, because he usually goes to bed around between 7:30 and 8:30,
Mhm.
right? If he's tired, 7:30. If he's not, 8:30. And so at that point, it's like 8:15, and it's like, all right, buddy, we got to start getting home.
Right.
But he had a hot dog, and he had a great time. So at one point during the game, a gentleman walked up to me. We were sitting there. A gentleman walked up to me and sat down and just said, hey, you know, my dad and I have been reading Dave Campbell's forever. We love what you guys do. We love the shows on Friday nights, stuff like that. And, you know, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Right? That's that has become more and more common, which is still weird, but like it has become more and more common that if I'm at a high school football game, it's happened to you at high school football games, right? That people will recognize you. So I got recognized once. Let me tell you who got recognized by two people. Hank. Because we were walking, and we walked by the student section, because the student section had these silver pom-poms that they had handed out.
Okay.
And Hank really wanted one of those.
Nice.
So I was going to see if we could just scrounge one,
Right.
grab one. So we're walking by the student section, and suddenly I hear, oh my gosh, Hank!
Oh.
And there are two young ladies who work at Hank's school,
Oh.
who I think are seniors at the high school,
Oh, nice.
who
little
work
helpers.
who work part-time
Yeah.
at the school. And they are just erupting. They're like, oh my God. Like they want to give him a big hug and stuff like that. So while they're hugging him, and Hank is just like, that's Miss Hannah and Miss Grace and stuff like that, right? Because I asked him later, he's like, that's Miss Hannah and Miss Grace. They're my friends. I'm like, no big deal.
No big deal.
But then
Don't worry about it,
But
Dad.
then I parlayed that into something for me. I was like, I need a favor. Do you have a pom-pom? She's like, yes, here you go.
Oh, well.
So Hank got to go home with a pom-pom last night.
Nice. Celebrity Hank
time.
Tepper.
So, yeah, it was
That's
great.
good. I'm really glad he had fun. That makes me happy.
He had a really good time. He thought it was really cool when they scored a touchdown. He's cheering and stuff like that, and it's a fun time. Anyway,
Good stuff. Happy for Hank.
so we got to start our indoctrination process of my.
He is now officially a sicko.
He's a sicko. Welcome to the party,
Welcome,
pal.
buddy.
It's in your blood. You can't get out.
You
of
can't.
it.
There's no escaping
No,
it.
there's no cure, buddy. All right, hit the theme expo. Pickle. Hit the air sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, all the places, or listen to us in the podcast. You can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part. Support your local, mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is becapped today. She's the Duchess of the Dork. She's Ashley Pickle.
I have a hat on. It's grody outside.
It is grody, and it is going to be grody.
Mm-hmm.
This is your weather report here.
Yeah.
Gonna be grody, like all day
Yeah.
and all night. Maybe not all night. I think it's gonna blow through by about 9:30, right? At least here locally
Let's see.
in scenic Lewisville, Texas.
Possibly.
Anyway, today is Friday, November 4th, 2022, the final Friday night of the Texas high school football regular season. Happy birthday, or I'm sorry, it's 20 days till Thanksgiving.
Whoa.
Sorry, I almost missed that. 20 days till Thanksgiving.
It looks like it's supposed to blow over by 5 tonight, is what this weather app is saying.
What's your weather app now? Happy 53rd birthday to Matthew McConaughey, the Minister of Culture.
There you go.
It's episode 1491. On today's show, my brothers and my sisters. We're going to unveil the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week. Then we're going to unveil the Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Week. We're going to recap a wild and woolly Thursday night of Texas high school football. A massive week of Thursday night of Texas high school football. Like, unprecedented. I think I'm comfortable saying it's unprecedented.
I wish it would stay like this. Not
Buddy.
maybe this big, but a little bit.
I gotta be on it. Okay, we'll get that. We'll get that. Let's table that. We'll table that.
I got some takes.
And then it's gonna be Helpful Honda Mailbag Fridays. We're answering your questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, everything you've got. Brackets. If you want to talk about brackets, we can talk about that coming up here at the back half of the program. Get your questions in on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll get to as many as we can. Pickle said we have a hard out at 12:45, so we have a hard out at 12:45.
Yeah.
Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Rob Hadaway, Just Chad, Tony Blaylock, and Paul Roberts. Welcome in, fellas.
You know what? I was thinking of Paul Roberts the other day. Hi, Paul. Because we got some photos from him. He's one of our fantastic photographers.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Roberts used to be known on this show as Paul Roberts, whose football opinions you can trust.
Yes.
Which is true. He knows football. Anyway, hi, Paul. All right, Pickle. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, the leading publication for all things football in the state of Texas, and the Tax Act Texas Bowl are proud to present the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Each week, Dave Campbell's Texas football staff nominates 10 deserving candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. We then leave it to you to vote at texasfootball.com. Voting closes each Friday at noon, with the winner being announced shortly thereafter. It is, check your watch. Is it shortly thereafter?
It is, in fact, shortly thereafter.
Your Week 10 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week is...
Drumroll. Boom!
Brian Benavides from Laredo United South. The running back carried the ball 36 times for 282 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground, with another 41 yards receiving. Congratulations to all the nominees: Denton Geyer, defensive back Peyton Bowen; Beckville, running back and linebacker Bo Hammonds; Killian Harker High's running back Rashawn Sanford; Franklin, running back Jaden Jackson; Poteet, defensive tackle Joe Nathan Guzman; Cy-Fair, quarterback Trey Owens; San Antonio Highlands wide receiver DeAnthony Johnson; Alvarado, quarterback Cardia Collier; and Mineola athlete Dawson Pendergrass. But a very special congratulations to the Week 10 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week, Brandon Benavides, running back out of Laredo United South. Very well-deserved young man.
I am not, let me rephrase that, just to be clear. I am not upset about Brandon Benavides winning. Congratulations, my dude. What I am upset about is I need to go into Mineola, stand on like the courthouse and say, hey, vote for Dawson Pendergrass. That poor guy. I mean, come on.
It's got to be at least 4
The
times.
internet must be not working very well out in Mineola.
It's got to be at least 4 times he's been nominated.
Awful. No excuse.
He's the Susan Lucci of Mr. Texas football.
But congratulations again to Brandon Benavides. Not upset for him.
Absolutely. No,
upset at Mineola, Texas.
Very well deserved. Dairy Max, Built, and Dave Campbell's Texas Football are proud to team up again this year to honor excellence in coaching and the hard work that assistant coaches put in on behalf of their teams. Each week, the Dave Campbell's Texas Football staff nominates 4 deserving assistant coaches for the Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Week. Let fans decide on the winner via Twitter poll. It all leads up to the Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Year, decided at season's end. Your Week 10 Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Week is...
Drumroll. Boom!
Frisco Lone Star defensive coordinator Kyle Mosikowski. In a veritable must-win game, the Rangers defense stood tall, holding Frisco to just 101 yards total offense in a 13-3 win. Congratulations to all the nominees: Lumberton defensive coordinator Chase McDonald, Fort Bend Dulles defensive coordinator Austin Lancaster, and San Antonio Wagner offensive coordinator Kevin Otten. But a very special congratulations to the Week 10 Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Week, Kyle Mosikowski, defensive coordinator at Frisco Lone Star High School.
Texas Football Today's very own.
He's sat in this chair.
Yeah, and talked about eating a lot of cake, right? Was that what they
sushi.
ate?
No, it was an ice cream cake.
Ice cream cake, that's what it is.
They got like Fudgy the Whale.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out to Coach Mosikowski. And now a word from our friends at VCR Now.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
All right, Pickle, it's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score a award. Whoa, we're going to...
In 3, 2. It's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score some deals on award-winning Hondas like the rugged and reliable 2023 Ridgeline. Stop by your Helpful Honda dealer today or visit ntxhondadealers.com to learn more.
Thank you, Honda. You can tell that we do not work on prompter at Bally.
Yeah, no.
Because reading things
is so hard.
Not our strong
If you
suit.
looked at us and said, I need the two of you to talk for 4 hours consistently, we'd be like,
Awesome.
cool.
No
They're
big
like,
deal.
I need you to read this one sentence line, and we're like, words? I'm an awful reader.
Have I ever seen that word? It's ta-ha. Oh, it's the.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. Get your questions in on high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Speaking of which, going back to that conversation just real fast, I only call, because it annoys Ish, I don't call y'all writers, I call you typers, because tell me the last time that you've actually, like, written something, you know? Like, y'all are typers, you're not writers.
Okay. I don't know if I love that. But
Exactly,
that's okay.
see, but it's funny, because legitimately, you don't write anything, you type.
Yeah, but
I know.
I'm not going to argue with you
I
about the art of writing. Anyway. Okay, let's talk a little bit about last night. Last night was a big game, a big week across the state of Texas. And we talked about this before, and we tabled it, but I want to get to this. I wonder if this is
you wonder?
an inflection point and we're going to see more Week 11 Thursday games next year.
Yep.
That teams are going to go to each other and say, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and move it up to Thursday, get an extra day before the playoffs. I wonder if that's going to be the case. I wonder if they're going to get a taste, they're going to realize they like it, and they're going to move forward. And I've got to be honest, this is a selfish thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you had this feeling last night.
Oh.
I was sitting there working and, like, just doing, like, starting, filling in, like, ranking stuff, just, who won and lost and stuff, just a lot of the basic stuff, still doing brackets, this, that, and the other. And then, like, it dawned on me that it was Thursday night. And I was like, it was the weirdest feling.
Mm-hmm.
It was the weirdest feeling because it was a complete night of high school football.
Oh, yeah.
There are going to be more games tonight than there were last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be close. It's going to be close because there were 231 last night. I think there were 569 total.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's just say there's 40 on Saturday, right? So it's like, let's just say there's 300. Just that's some real quick and dirty math. But, this was a massive night of high school football. And as somebody who has a ton to do, I kind of love it.
Man, I loved it for a lot of different reasons. One, I honestly think, if you want to take, I'll talk about our side first. One, yes, absolutely. Makes our lives so much easier to be able to start having so many more results put in on Thursday rather than Friday. Two, just from a normal Thursday night football perspective, usually I'm at a game. Last night I was not able to be at a game because my day job was getting in the way.
Yeah.
But it's like the being able to take that and really dive into some of those games and the numbers and everything like that, to not have to do that in the sum of all the Friday stuff, so much fun. And also, too, to be honest, one, that gives the coaches more time to figure out, if they know who they're playing, where they're going to be playing at. And then also, it gives their kids an extra day heading into playoffs to be able to get a little rest. And I don't see anyone that would be like, at week 11 too, you want that extra day. You're not worried about trying to adjust your schedule as much.
So
I think it was great for everybody.
Here's a perfect example of one that I thought last night was interesting. So Richmond Randall played at Huntsville last night. And it was more or less straight up for a playoff spot. It ended up that the winner did get in. Huntsville won, and they got in the playoffs. Randall would have gotten in with a win, but there was other things. It was in concert with things, but you know what I'm saying. But as you think about that, if Randall had to drive, that's a 2-hour drive from Richmond to Huntsville. Let's say that they didn't move the game to tonight. Or they didn't move the game from tonight. Let's say they get on the road, they get to Huntsville, it's lightninged out. They drive back. Then they got to drive, theoretically, back to Huntsville the next day. You're spending 8 hours on the bus. And you're losing a day of prep ahead of there. And it also takes away the possibility of playing a Thursday night high school or a playoff game next week because you got to satisfy the 5-day rule. I don't know. I do wonder if you're going to start to see a schedule shift going forward.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that. Keep doing that.
So last night, the games of the night I thought were, in large part, lived up to the hype. Melissa stuns Lovejoy late to win the district championship. It's a great win for Melissa. I have serious questions about Lovejoy heading into the playoffs.
I've had serious questions about Lovejoy since I saw him play North Crowley.
I've got some questions.
They don't got that dog in them.
But Melissa, it's a great win for them. I'm very impressed with Trevor Ham and what he's been able to do at the quarterback spot. That was a great win.
I think that spoke a lot to the non-district schedule that Melissa had too, because they scheduled tough, and I feel like that was exactly the type of game that they look back on and go, "That's why we did that."
Yeah. We talked about it yesterday, but Fort Bend Marshall and Dayton. Fort Bend Marshall puts it on them. They win it, I want to say 52-21, something along those lines, and that does feel like exactly what you need heading into the playoffs. This feels like a much more battle-tested Fort Bend Marshall team, and that should behoove them going forward.
And not just battle-tested, like dominantly battle-tested.
The elsewhere, okay, the
Kilgore
game that
and
Steph
Chapel
was at.
Hill.
Chapel Hill beats Kilgore 32-20. In large part thanks to just big explosive plays, which is kind of their calling card. They hit home runs. They're a home running team. I'm very impressed with that defense. That defense has come a long way. A long way, because that's a big, physical, Longview or Kilgore team that kind of bears down on you, and they were more than capable of that. I want to see when the brackets come out, and I want to see the path that they would have to walk out of Region 3.
It's difficult.
It's tough.
But I don't know the level
I'm
of
willing
difficult.
to put them back into that conversation, though. Like, to me, they lose their first two, and they look ugly. Like, bad losses. One of them was a Gilmer, right? The other one was to Van, which is an okay loss, right? Yeah. But since then, they rattle off the final 8. That's impressive. I also don't throw dirt on Kilgore. It's also a chance that that's the first of 2 meetings we see between them. So, very impressed by Chapel Hill and their win last night. Elsewhere, what else was popping last night? There was a couple of near misses. Timpson got in a dogfight with who were they playing last night? Joaquin?
No, they've already played Joaquin.
Timpson got in a dogfight with, I've got it here, Garrison.
Yes.
44-38.
Yeah, they play Joaquin like
44-38. Their defense is, now it doesn't matter because Terry Bussey went off.
Right.
But, they finished 10-0. Other games of note last night, I'm trying to think. Oh, a couple 6-man games that got moved up. Balmorhea beat Sanderson. I did not know that game got moved up to Thursday, but Balmorhea beat Sanderson to win the district, and so they are into the playoffs, rolling as district champions with the one loss only in the opener to Westbrook. Somebody anyway. So keep an eye on Balmorhea; they look very good. Elsewhere across the state of Texas, I'm trying to think of anything else that really caught my eye. Like I said, there are a couple of near misses. Cuero was tied with LaGrange at halftime. Cuero and LaGrange were knotted up at 7 at half, and then they won like 56-7. So they woke up from their first half nap and put it on them. But that was.
Oh, God! Did you see this? You see this, Kev? Did you see the Trinity and Bell?
Oh my God!
So Bell had not. It had been 24 years that Bell had not beat Trinity.
And by the way, they played every year. To be clear, when we say 24 years, we don't mean
consecutive.
Like, oh yeah, like they played in
1924, and then they took a 20-year hiatus.
No, they have lost 24 straight.
They are up up. Everyone's going, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. All of a sudden, I pull up Twitter. They lost.
Yeah.
Trinity ended up, which good win for Trinity, honestly, which is a program that has been pretty stinking down this year, to claw your way back, but a heartbreaker to Bell. 1997 since 1997, since I've been alive, they have not won. And 27-24, that one was just like, come on, man.
Fulshire beats Richmond Foster.
Yeah.
It's such a great win and such a great year for Nick Caduti and Fulshire. And now
9-1, right? Yeah, they're only lost to Angleton.
Yeah, and now Richmond Foster is in scoreboard watching mode. They need Friendswood to beat Magnolia West if they're going to get into the playoffs.
And that would be the second time that they've missed the playoffs. Last year when they missed it, it was the first time since 2007. So things not going ideally.
Flew under the radar, but Katy Morton Ranch won last night. They beat Katy Jordan. That seals Katy to Division II. We thought that was going to be the case, but there was a path for Katy to go D1 still. That will not happen. Katy is going to the Division II bracket as Morton Ranch gets the win last night. A shout-out to Brazoswood. Brazoswood beats Clear Lake 52-24 in what was a straight-up playoff game. That was a team that had not had a winning season or made the playoffs in a decade, since 2012. And Joe Dale Carey shows up in year one and gets them 7-3 into the playoffs. That is a hell of a coaching job, what he was able to do.
I don't know if you saw, I tweeted this out last night, but I stumbled upon the fact that Clear Lake has a linebacker named Cecil Dessendorfer, and I just think that that's a fantastic
Hell yeah,
name.
brother.
He said, Coach described him as a true motor throwback player that's tough as nails and always around the ball. So I tweeted that out, and then people start tagging him, and they're like, he's a beast, and Cecil's Mr. Cecil Sr., I guess, Papa Cecil is the name of his thing. He commented. So anyway.
What's his name?
Cecil C. Dessendorfer.
Dessendorfer.
Yeah, but his dad's Twitter handle is @PapaCecil_D. Amazing.
Love him.
Papa Cecil.
Wichita Falls into the playoffs because we got dubbed the Coyote last night.
Dub for president.
Dubbed the Coyote. Got tweeted.
I quote tweeted and I said playoff bound dub.
Yeah, that's right. Not sure if you saw, but Coppell beat Plano. Now Plano's interesting. Plano lost their final.
I thought they were playing Plano East.
No, Coppell played Plano.
Plano? Okay.
Plano. Coppell finishes 9-1. The bit of I want you to put the word out there that we back up is kind of venturing on not a bit anymore. Like they're 9-1 and like pretty good. They get McKinney in round one, and that'll be a real dogfight. Midlothian Heritage survives Everman by 1 point in a real fun game.
Is that the second or third game Everman has had a 1 point game?
I know
their one with Stephenville.
They have two losses, and they're both by 1 point.
1 point. Yep. God darn it. Bad luck, E-Block.
So there's that. And then the shout out of the night. The shout out of the night belongs to the Rough Riders of Boys Ranch. Boys Ranch, you may remember, as the team that snapped the 49-game losing streak last year. I believe we had Aaron Wampler on our show.
Yeah.
They're into the playoffs. They beat Booker last night. And Boys Ranch, for the first time in 14 years, is going dancing.
Well, and explain that, because I don't know if everyone knows.
So Boys Ranch is located on Cal Farley's Boys Ranch up there in the Panhandle, up near Amarillo.
I've passed by it before.
Yes. And Boys Ranch is it's a school for troubled at risk.
At risk, yeah.
There you go. That's the way I would put it. For at-risk youth. It's a home for at-risk youth that also plays football and plays basketball and stuff like that. And they had been down bad, like one of the worst teams in the state. They'd lost 49 consecutive games before they won a game last year. They had not made the playoffs since 2008. They haven't had a winning season since 2008, but they are in the win column. That is, by the way, the only time they've ever made the playoffs. It's the second time they've ever made the playoffs. Been playing since 1962.
That's awesome.
In the UIL.
The celebration video that was shared on Twitter was very, very cool.
They're dancing, and that is one of the stories of the year. Unbelievable. A big win over Booker last night to clinch a playoff spot. So congratulations to the Rough Riders of Boys Ranch. Very, very well deserved there. All right, Pickle, let's get to some questions. I'm sure if there's some Thursday cleanup, if you got questions about that, we can ask those, but if we didn't get to it. So anyway, what you got?
Let's head down to the RGV, and it's a matchup that we've talked about a lot, but I think that it's even more relevant now. What is the chance of PSJ North and Vela for the 5A Division I Region 4 championship?
So let me see if I can pull up the the bracket as it stands right now. So they would meet in a regional final. PSJA North is going to have, assuming that they take care of business, they would have a second round date with Corpus Christi Miller.
Yes.
That is, and then Vela might have a second round date with Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. That's the real turn. To me, if they get past that, if they win those games, the area round games against the teams from District 14, Miller for PSJA North and Vets for Vela, I think that would be the favorite. Right. I think it would, at that point they would be favored to meet in a regional final.
And I would like to say I think that they would be favored as it stands right now. I think they would be favored in that game, but that's a huge hump to get over when push comes to shove.
Let me see what I can find here. According to our computer, right? And the computer's not perfect. The computer's an unfeeling robot. Both Vela and PSJA North would be favorites in that game. Both,
that's what I figured.
They'd be favored, according to the computer. But at the same time, the computer doesn't know history. The computer doesn't know pressure. The computer doesn't know all of the things,
Two of those teams are very used to being there. Two of them are not.
Yes, absolutely. Both the two teams have made deep playoff runs of late, and it ain't the teams that we're talking about. So the computer can only tell you that. The computer thinks that on paper they would be favored. So on paper, the favorite to make a regional final would be PSJA North and Edinburgh Vela. But they don't play games on paper. So we'll see. We'll see. What's next, Pickle?
We'll stay down in kind of that area. Go a little bit west.
Amarillo.
Montana.
Montana.
We're heading up to Montana.
If you ask me a high school football question about Montana, you're fired. Not you. I'm talking to the viewers.
Oh,
like,
cool.
You're fired. I'll fire you.
I was like, dude, you fired me 75,000 times, and I just keep... I think you haven't fired me in a while because I think you know that it's not going to work. I'm just going to keep showing up. A suddenly kind of interesting game here that I think at the beginning of the year we thought was going to be halfway through the season. No, Gregory Portland and Corpus Christi Flower Bluff. So both of them kind of having Gregory Portland, you'll remember, they lost their quarterback super early on, and we kind of plummeted them down. Flower Bluff got some early losses, and we plummeted them down. But now they're both 4-0, vying for the district championship tonight.
Yeah, it is a district title game. They're in District 15 5A Division 1, and Division 2 rather. And what I appreciate about Gregory Portland is that
they've just figured it out.
They really have. Their two losses are, by the way, to unbeaten teams, Bernie and Corpus Christi Calallen. And
both teams that are looking really
good.
Like really good.
The question for me is that, and especially I would compare this Flower Bluff team, because Flower Bluff enters this game, 2 losses, I want to say?
3.
3 losses, 6 and 3. Flower Bluff's losses on the year, according to the computer that I'm playing, they also have a loss to Bernie, a close one. They also have a loss to Calallen, and they have a loss to Alice. 2 of those were close, one of them was not. What is interesting to me is when you take a look at the Gregory Portland defense, the offense that they're going to face tonight against Flower Bluff probably profiles closer to Bernie. That is when their defense had their worst game. So, can guys like Jaden Palcio, the quarterback for Flower Bluff, and the running game get going against this Gregory Portland defense? That's the question for me. I think I like G-Port, especially at home. I think that is going to be my pick. But this is a one-possession game. This is a coin flip type game. Very intrigued by it. I'm going with Gregory Portland. I think
their defense is better.
I think their defense has improved.
I just don't know if Flower.
This is also, in my opinion, the second best offense they've faced. I think it's a better offense. It's hard to say that, but I think it's a better offense than Calallen's. At least it's a more explosive offense than Calallen's, and especially more it's going to have 10 weeks to cook. So that's what I'm interested in finding out, is how does Gregory Portland handle this Flower Bluff offense? I think I like G-Port, but Flower Bluff's offense I think could pose some big issues there. So there you go. What is next, Mademoiselle Pickle?
How will 4A Division 1 Region 2 District 6 end up?
Jeez, you could just say District 6
District
4A Division 1. Is that what you want?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Apparently.
Okay. 6 4A Division 1. Let's go to it. The Lake Worth District, I suppose it is? Yeah. Okay.
Sounds right.
So, Kennedale is now, I believe, Kennedale's the only team left to play in this district. And if they win, then they win the district championship, right? Because they've got the head-to-head win over Lake Worth. But if Dunbar wins, then at that point, Dunbar doesn't have one. No, and then so at that point, Lake Worth would be the district champion, and then you would be talking about a third-place Kennedale team. So Kennedale, I believe, can only finish first or third here. I like Kennedale in this game. I think Kennedale is going to win the district championship. I think they're going to go out there. They had that kind of weird. They had that weird hiccup a couple of weeks ago
against Dunbar.
Against is that right? Lake Worth. No, I got that wrong.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
Lake Worth beat Kennedale. I'm sorry. I got that wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10-3.
So it does not matter. Lake Worth's win last night solidifies them as a district champion. This is for second and third. The winner of I think Kennedale's going to win, be second place. I think Dunbar will be third place. And then you've got Eastern Hills and Western Hills. And who won that game head to head? Eastern Hills and Western Hills. Western Hills won, so it'll be Western Hills fourth. So Lake Worth, I like Kennedale to beat Dunbar tonight, and then Western Hills fourth would be my projection. So I hope that's helpful as I'm reading districts. I'll be honest, I've not paid a ton of attention to 6-4A Division 1 in the past couple, because it's very top heavy. It's those two teams. After we got past that Lake Worth and Kennedale game, it was just like, okay, kind of wake me up till the playoffs.
ISD
Yeah,
type.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wake me up till the playoffs game. So, all right, what's next?
Have we ever had a state championship with the roof open? If not, what are the chances we get one?
No,
it's not going to happen.
No, I mean...
I do.
Oh, you mean at AT&T?
AT&T,
I mean, technically the roof was open at Texas Stadium.
Yeah,
right.
Because it.
But
no, I think 0%. It means that. Yeah,
it won't happen. The reason they play them there
is because we don't have to worry about weather.
Is because, yeah. I mean, and go look at. I mean, this is now a tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Go look at the history of AT&T Stadium, and when they open the roof.
It's barely ever.
Almost never.
Yeah.
Almost never.
They literally did last weekend, and that's the first time all season that they have.
They'll do it, yeah. And one of the things
because this goes back to your Rangers rant.
It does. One of the things that bothers me about retractable roofs, I'm down with retractable roofs, but I want it to default to open. That's for me. I want it to default to open. Mm-hmm. I understand that if you want it to be the most level playing field and you want weather to play no factor in it, fine. Seal it up and go. But for retractable roofs, I want the default to be open, right? One of my favorite trips I ever took, my wife and I went to Seattle. Seattle has a ballpark, Safeco Field, that has I think it's still Safeco Field, that has it has a retractable roof. We went to 2 games up there. One of them with the roof closed because it was raining. The other one with the roof open, even though it was like in the 50s, right? I think that's great. I think for me, I would rather default to the roof being open. Mm-hmm. With that said, AT&T Stadium does not share in that belief system with me. No. And B, I know that the UIL, one of the reasons that they really value their partnership with AT&T Stadium and why the only time the single-site state championship games have not been at AT&T Stadium was at the other NFL stadium in the state, and why the only other place that they would, in my opinion, I haven't really pinned a UIL member down about this, but the only other place they would consider would be the Alamo
Dome. Yeah.
Is because they value that indoor thing.
Yeah.
It's also better, I mean, to get into the weeds, it's better for TV. It's better for a lot of different things. So right. I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
December's a tough sell. Mm-hmm. even though it's not going to, only be in the 50s here, but
I'll tell you though, man, the wind around AT&T Stadium is always insane. Oh, I don't care what time of year
Arlington's
it is. It can
pretty
be
flat.
Yeah, it does not matter. But it is cold with that wind, and I have been in AT&T Stadium before at a Cowboys game when they had the roof open, and it was probably in the upper 70s that day. Mm-hmm. And when you get up there anywhere the 3rd or 4th level when they have that thing open, because when they open the roof is not the only thing that opens. They also open the glass that's on the side of the stadium, which is where the direction that the wind is typically blowing. Mm-hmm. Even at 70 something, and I know I'm a weenie, but it's very chilly with the wind up there.
Yeah.
So it's just not going to happen in December because the whole concourse would be open to the wind.
Yeah. So there you go. I love the idea. Love that energy. Just not going to happen. Not realistic. What's next, Pickle?
Hypothetically, you're an SMU fan. How do you feel about Coach Dyke's instant success at your rival school? If you're just talking from a fan's perspective, you hate it. There's no way. If you're a diehard SMU fan and you see him go to your rival school,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to hate it.
I've had talks with SMU fans who are really salty about it. They're real salty about it.
Yeah.
And they should be. I mean, that's what, like, how would you feel if the head coach at your alma mater went to your biggest rival?
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened there. I imagine they're rooting against him in every game. Like they don't want him to win. And furthermore,
if you're an SMU fan, they were rooting against TCU in every game anyway.
Well, and the other thing about that, the other thing for me, even though I think I'm of the opinion, I don't know, I've kind of, I'm in like a post-fan portion of my life where I'm just like, I'm just like acknowledging these things. I think that like what Sonny Dykes did there at SMU was really impressive and like helped to elevate that program and put them in a better place. And so I think they should celebrate him, but like I also know that's not how things work.
I think that they could celebrate him if he went to any other university.
Right.
I think it's when you go to the rival that's when
if you're the head coach
of
of Michigan and you go to Ohio State, then you're going to be
that would be like
Sark
Sark having unbelievable like a really good stint at Texas and then going to Texas A&M
or OU,
or OU, either one.
No, but I also here's the other thing. If you want to get like more like nitty gritty and nuts and bolts about this, if you're an SMU fan, and the problem with TCU having this kind of success is that you guys are theoretically going after the same kind of recruits. You're going after the same kind of recruits. Now, TCU has always recruited better than SMU in a large number of reasons, conference affiliation, and things like that. But also, like, that is another problem. You know what I mean? So, there you go.
The Seattle ballpark is T-Mobile Park now.
T-Mobile Park, thank you.
Not Safeco.
I am old.
Thoughts on this might be a game going a little bit under the radar, but thoughts on Colleen Ellison and Lake Belton tonight?
Yeah, this is an interesting game, and it's got major playoff implications because I put out that tweet about like the games that are straight up not straight up for playoff spots.
That would be this one.
And this is not one. This doesn't qualify because technically you could have had a logjam at 5-3. You cannot now because Shoemaker won, so they're 6-2. So this is straight up a playoff game. The winner is in, the loser is out. For Ellison, I just don't know if they can score enough.
No.
That's the biggest issue for me for Danny Servants' squad is that their offense has just been so fits and starts, and especially in a game. Now look, maybe the weather is going to tamp down the scoring, and maybe Micah Hudson won't be able to go off, but like. This is like, unfortunately, like this is an Ellison team that's only averaging like 23 points a game, and so their offense has been too inconsistent for me to trust. For Lake Belton, they've just got the explosive offense, and I like if they get to 31 points, they're going to win, in my opinion. Right? This is very much. This is going to sound like an insult, and I don't mean it that way, but I view it in the same way that I view like A&M. Of like A&M's offense kind of is what they are right now, right? 28 points is probably where they're maxing out. Maybe they get to 35. They get to like a special teams. So it's got to be on their defense to hold them down.
Yep.
Can they do that? Yes, I think their defense has been pretty good this year. But they're also going up against a pretty high-powered Lake Belton attack that I think is going to provide for some matchup problems for Ellison. Yeah. That's why I like Lake Belton to get that final.
Yeah, if you have a Lake Belton, if we look down at like. We're going to say halfway through the second quarter and Lake Belton's at 21 points. It's
probably over.
Probably over at that
I just have
point.
a hard time. Like, they're capable of it. And
now,
they're
at halftime, if it's even 14,
and they're going to pull out
like,
all
okay.
the stops. Danny Servants is going to empty the bag, but like, I just don't know if I trust the Ellison offense enough. And I think that Lake Belton offense is going to score. And so, what do you do then? What's next, Pickle?
Let's go down to the greater Houston area.
Yeah.
So Galveston Ball is gonna win 9-5A Division 1.
Yes.
There's nothing.
Oh, Galveston Ball is my most fascinating
So
team.
they have only allowed 14 points.
Yes.
They've out of 9 games. They had their first game of the year against Lamarck. They allowed 7.
They scored Lamarck. Hold on, because I'm
Uh-huh.
fascinated because I've done the research. Lamarck scored a touchdown with about a minute left in the first half of their opener, and then they pitched like 7 straight shutouts.
Yeah, they did not give up another 7 points until they played Houston Walthrop on October 22nd.
Yes, and I want to say
and
that
that's
was
it. Those
also
are the
in the
only
second
points.
quarter.
Yep.
Yes, so they basically went like almost 7 full games, 8 full games, shutting them out. So bye, Will.
Bye, Willie.
Bye, Will.
So you have that
yes.
likely to be matched up against
know.
either Foster or Magnolia West. Defense in the bi-district round would be insane.
Yeah. Now, hold on. Now, let me make sure I'm looking. I'm going to try to do a little bit of quick math here. No, there's not a way. That's unfortunate because the game I want to see. The game I want to see is Galveston Ball and Fulshire.
Yes.
Because Fulshire's offense is crazy.
Crazy.
And it's like, oh my gosh, what if like we just like smash them together? Like, it really is for me like taking like action figures and just smashing them together.
Yeah,
right?
the Rock'em Sock'em robots are doing this.
Okay. Right. I mean, and here's the thing. Magnolia West's offense is no slouch either. Like, their offense is humming right now, averaging something along the lines of 30 points a game, right? The Galveston Ball is fascinating because their defense has been literally record-setting, and yet they have not played anyone.
No.
Anyone. Their best win is that win in week 2 on the road at Texas City when they won 7-0. Okay? That's a good win. Texas City's okay.
It's a good travel distance, too.
But, like, they have been heavy favorites in every other game, at least 2 touchdown favorites in every other game. And so it's like Galveston Ball is such a mystery box. Because, like, maybe they are just a product of a bad schedule. And they're going to face a team like Magnolia West or Richmond Foster in the first round of the playoffs, and they're going to get throttled. And they're going to give up 60 points, right? Maybe that. Or maybe they're secretly the greatest defense of all time.
Yeah.
And we just don't know it yet.
But we'll figure it out.
Fascinated. I think it's probably somewhere in between.
Yeah.
But, like, I think they're a really good defense that also has benefited from a bad schedule. But, like, I'm really interested.
Yeah.
I'm going to be locked in on Gal Ball and whoever they play in the first round. Galveston Ball is up there with they're like my pet team.
Yes, and that, like, they are, my Hitchcock is, me to Hitchcock is you to Galveston Ball.
Yeah, Galveston Ball. I'm fascinated by Sheldon Benite's squad. Yeah. Anyway.
Which, oh, by the way, I know for a fact my Hitchcock love has been spread to the community of Hitchcock because I get tagged in, like, every Hitchcock tweet of all time.
I
Like,
love it.
Lloyd Jones III tags me in his highlights every single week, which is, like, their superstar quarterback. And I'm like, I could walk in and everyone would wave the Hitchcock
You've
flag.
now been here long enough to understand the fun of just, like, picking a team that makes you happy.
Yes.
And, like, Galveston Ball makes me
happy.
So, all right, let's do 2 more.
Okay. Here's we'll go here. On chicken strips, do you prefer ranch dressing or cream gravy?
Well, it's real Sophie's choice there. I will just chicken strips,
Yeah.
gravy. Now I know your answer because you
Yes.
really? Yeah.
Okay, well, here's my deal. I get both.
I get both.
Porque no los dos. But when the chicken tenders are piping hot, I love them in the ranch. What I do is, and this is masterful thinking. I'm gonna pat myself on the back here. Chicken strips stay hot for a long time.
Yes.
Their shelf life is good. They stay hot.
Yeah, the
so I
half-life
like
is very
dipping them
strong.
in the ranch because the ranch is cool. Fries get cold quickly. So in order to reheat my fries naturally, I like dipping them in the gravy because the gravy is hot.
Yes.
That's my train of thought.
Okay. I love it. I think that's fair, and I think that's a thoughtful way of going about it. I say both. I've told you my Chicken Express order is I get the tendies, and I'm maybe stopping there on the way home. Get the tendies, and I get the gravy. Like I say, I want the ranch and the chipotle and the jalapeno ranch, and they always ask me. They're like, "Do you want the cream gravy too?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want the cream gravy." Yeah, that serendipity salt, baby. Give me that hot serendipity salt. All right, last one. Give me an ender.
If you weren't covering football, what sport would you like to talk or write about? What sport would you like to cover?
That's easy.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball. Baseball is in my opinion. Baseball is, in my opinion, the ultimate talking sport. It is the sport that has the most amount of data to break down, the most amount of debates going on, the most amount of, I think because of the sheer number of data points that you get. And then like, so for example, like okay. So playoff baseball is awesome. And I'm not here to tell you that playoff baseball isn't awesome.
I think everyone, even non-baseball fans, can agree that playoff baseball is great.
Yeah. Like high leverage baseball.
Regular season baseball, but
is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
There's a small part of me that wishes that it was like the Premier League, where it's like you play your games, and whoever the standings end at the end of the year,
then you
that's
get bumped
the champion. That's the champion, right? So like. Whoever has the most wins, you get 100. You know, you play a round robin. You play everybody like the Premier League. You play a double round robin. You play everybody home and away. You play 38 matches. Number of points you got at the end, then tiebreaker, goal differential, et cetera, et cetera. You go from there, because you are taking a game and you're making it like you're taking a game that is ultimately about stamina and you're making it about sudden bursts. And I don't. There is a certain element that of me that's like. Like,
I think that's why people think
I think the Astros
season.
are going to win the World Series, like now, after they won last night. I do not think the Phillies are the second best team in baseball. I think they're the hottest team right now, right? I think they're the hottest team. Go back to something that haunts my dreams. I do not think the St. Louis Cardinals were the best team in baseball in 2011.
No.
I'm not sure the Rangers were, but I don't think the Cardinals were the best team in baseball in 2011. So there's a certain element of me. Anyway, all of that is to say, I would be covering baseball. I think baseball is fascinating. I grew up with baseball, and it's my favorite sport to watch. I mean, I love watching football, obviously, but like as a spectator who can kind of turn your brain off.
Right.
That's the one. Because every time I watch football, I don't know if you're like this now. I'm just like sitting there, just like thinking about like all the ramifications. Like, it's hard. Last night when I was at the game
I can't turn my
Hank,
brain off.
Last night when I was at the game with Hank, I'm like sitting there like. Like kind of break down coverages and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to cover too. You know, stuff like that. Like, like Hank's just there like, look at the cheerleaders. You know? So anyway, that it?
Well, I have an answer.
Let's go to Ashley Pickle.
Sir. It's a real toss-up for me between basketball or golf. Basketball or golf. I've told everyone in this office, if the Golf Channel comes calling and says, hey, you want to live in Florida and cover golf, like, see ya. But I have a deep-rooted passion for basketball, but I run into the same issue with basketball as I do with football of that breaking down the coverage. Like, I get irrationally angry about scheme in basketball, so that's why, like, just talking golf is great. You know, like, I enjoy it. I love watching it. I can turn my brain off. It's fantastic. Basketball, I almost get, like, irrationally angry because I'm like, what? Why are you in zone? You know, like, so it's a little mix of both, but that would be my answer.
Okay. It's going to do it for us, I think, right? Watch Bally Sports Southwest. It's going to be a weird show tonight. Can we say this? I don't know.
I don't know what you're going to say, so.
About next week?
No, I would not. You can. I'm not going to say anything.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks for being here with us. Please watch Bally Sports Southwest tonight, 7 o'clock to 11 7 to 11 for Football Friday, and then 11 to 1 for High School Scoreboard Live. Craigway will be there because Kansas State, Texas don't kick off till 6.
Yeah.
So it's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. For the esteemed Ashley Pickle, I'm just Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Monday on Texas Football Today.